Hey everybody, Nick here, and today I got a review for you of this little guy here. This is the Sunwayman C21C Thunderhammer. And I'm just gonna call this the Thunderhammer because, by God, that's an incredible secondary name to give to the light, and it's a lot more fun than C21C. Size comparison, this is an 18650 battery light, so here we go. You can see inside there's an 18650, and so that's what it looks like relative to an 18650 battery here. Go ahead and drop that back in there. And this takes only some 18650 batteries. It takes a shorter variety of batteries. Bigger batteries, protected ones particularly, don't tend to do so well. But anyways, so here's an 18650 battery. Here is your CR123A. Here is a Sunwayman Revolution light that's also going to get reviewed here. Here is a EGTAC D25A, which is one of my favorite EDC lights ever. Here is the RRT1 by JetBeam. And yeah, there you go. So that's your size comparison. A couple things to point out here is that this light has actually been modified by Vin, VINH, guy who does a lot of modifications, puts in better LEDs and things like that. But I'll try and touch on the things that will be as a result of that versus the rest of it. And then finally, I want to point out the coolest feature of this light just ahead of time. On the front of it, of course, you've got the main emitter, which emits a normal white light. But on the side, if you hold down this button here, it triggers the second emitter, if I do it correctly. Oh, come on, you little bugger. There you go. That has a separate LED here that emits a bright red light. Red light, of course, being interesting because it doesn't mess with your night vision. And so, yeah, that's kind of its neatest trick, its gimmick, so to speak. And let's go on ahead and jump into the good, the great, the bad, and the ugly. So first on the good front, Thunderhammer. Oh man, I love that. It brings me to, I think today I'm gonna ADC the Thunderhammer. It makes me feel a little bit like Thor, and let's face it, during the course of my everyday life, I don't often feel like Thor, so that's kind of a cool thing, right? It is actually very compact for an 18650 light. You know, there are smaller, more compact versions, but it is fairly nice, and especially compared to some of your larger options, this is good, and you can throw this into the pocket for EDC, even though it's a little bit thick, a little heavy, and a little bit long. It tail stands very nicely, which means it's good as a upward torch, and also you can tail stand it and use the side LED here and treat it as kind of an L-shaped light. Potentially, if you have a pocket that you can set it into, unfortunately, you can't clip it, but that's a nice thing. Also, because it's square on the top there, this light will not roll, which is a beautiful thing. The beam itself is very floody off of this guy. It's got a certain hot spot, but it is not really a long beam spotter, but it's quite good. The light on this particular model is very beautiful, but I think that's because of the modifications by Vin. He tends to put in a better, more sort of color rendering sort of light in there. That's good. Ergonomics on this guy are actually pretty decent. Feels nice enough in the hand. No major complaints with it. It's a little bit less ergonomic if you're using it on the using the side lamp here, but once you turn it on, you can just hold it like this and then use that way. So that's nice. It is IPX8 waterproof, which means it's able to deal with full submersion, which is not something I often use, but is not a bad thing. I won't argue with that. The switch positioning is nice, and it feels good in the hand. To have your switch right here, it's easy enough to get to, and I'm a big fan of that. So I like that very, very much. On the white light side, oh there, hit disco mode there. Okay, there we go. You can see that it dims down, and there are 4 different levels of brightness available from this light, which is a nice thing. And there are 3 levels of brightness for the red light. Which is fine too. So indeed, if you hold this down and then keep holding it down, 1, 2, 3, there you go. So that's a good thing. It does have a low battery indicator. If your battery's too low, these lights over here start flashing. And it's got a pretty easy to find switch because you've got this dome here as a landmark. So you put it in your hand, and even in the dark, you can, as long as your index finger is on the dome for the red LED, your thumb's going to be on the switch, which is a beautiful thing. So that's your good. The name, first and foremost. It's fairly compact. It tail stands nicely, won't roll. The light on it is good. It's floody. It's very nice in the upgraded model here. The ergonomics on it are good. It's waterproof. The switch positioning is nice. You get multiple levels of light. a low battery indicator, and it is pretty easy to find the switch on the light. Let's go ahead and jump into the bad. Actually, you can tell I'm not yet used to doing the good, the great, the bad, and the ugly, because I just did that. So let's go ahead and jump into the great before we jump into the bad. The great on this guy is actually going to be this little red light here. It is actually really, really nice because red light doesn't spoil your night vision. And so if you just need to look at a map, it's kind of nice to be able to turn on the red light quickly, look at that, and then turn it back off, and you're right back to where you started night vision-wise. And it's bright enough that you could navigate a dark room with it in a heartbeat. So it's a unique feature, but it is a nice kind of halfway measure between carrying a dedicated red light for night vision purposes and carrying and not having any of that ability at all. So I like that a lot, and that's something that really is the best feature of this light here, is that little red light. So now, let's go into the bad. So on the bad front, first off, it is another damn black flashlight. Unfortunately, I mean, you know I complain about all this all the time, but you're supposed to find a flashlight in the dark. Why are you making the whole damn thing black, really? It's also a little bit on the heavy side, at 4.45 ounces, which is a fair amount of weight. It's not terrible, it's definitely carryable, but it is a little on the heavy side, and that's a big part of that is because of the 18650 battery in there. So there you go. When you're using this guy on high, there is a lot of heat generated, particularly up at the top here. And unfortunately, that heat, unlike in a lot of lights, is generated right under where your fingers rest. It doesn't get to the point, at least in the short amount of time that you get on the super turbo mode, that it's actually dangerous, but it does heat right up. And so that is something you got to keep in mind there. I do not like the interface on this light, really, because in addition, so like I said, if you turn it on immediately, just with a single click, it turns on the regular white light. If you hold it down, it turns on the red light. If you hold it down more than that, it'll cycle through the cycles, but then it's very easy to, as you're trying to cycle through cycles or something like that, accidentally end up in disco strobe mode. It's just not terribly intuitive, and I get the sense that there are timers working behind the scenes that I don't fully understand, but I don't love the interface there. We'll just put it that way. So there you go. Another bad thing that is really frustrating is that there's no mode memory for both lights individually. So, for instance, let me give you an example here. If I turn on the red light here, and then I dim it down to low, then I turn on the white light, shut that off, then I turn the red light on, it's back up to high again. Basically, it has mode memory, but only for the kind of light you were recently using. So if you're using the white light on low and you turn the white light back on, it goes back to low. But if you turn the red light on, it'll go to high. And if you turn the white light on after that, it'll go back to high. It's kind of a little unintuitive. And it just means that, for instance, if you're doing something where you need a lot of low and you switch between the two of them, you're going to have to go back through high again. And unlike on a rotary sort of light where you can really dedicate, you tell how much light you're going to get to start with, there's a very good chance you're going to use a lot more light than you want because it comes on really, really hot at first, and then you have to tone it down. So again, that part of the interface really does bug me. Then finally, on the bad side, it's really not all that bright for an 18650 light. At about 830 lumens max, this guy, because it's been modified, pushes a little bit more, but you know, it's not bad. It's definitely outdoors capable, but it's also just not stellar in that way. And so you are paying a price for having the second emitter on there. So yeah, there's your bad. It's another damn black flashlight that's a little bit heavy. It heats right up. The interface is really bad with the lack of mode memory and only one button to control two lights and disco modes to get lost in. And then it's just not all that bright for an 18650 light of this size. Let's jump into the ugly real quick. The big ugly on this light is the fact that there's no clip. It doesn't come with the clip, which is really, really, really silly. This is a light that is just big enough that you could put it in the pocket. I mean, okay. A light like this guy, this is the EGTAC SX25 L3. You're not going to put this in your pocket. You don't need to include a pocket clip with this light. However, this guy you certainly could, and it's definitely a little bit worse for the wear without one. I was able to put on the clip from a Phoenix UC35 to carry it a little bit, but still, it's not they need to put a clip in there. It's a cheap piece of metal. Just break into it, okay, guys? And so that's just ugly. Why did you skip that step? And especially on a light that is designed to be used potentially laterally. It'd be nice to have a reversible clip so you could slide this into your pocket and then have the light hanging out your pocket, projecting light in front of you. I think that's a beautiful thing, and it's a big missed opportunity here. So Sunwayman, you missed it there. Nice try. Let's go ahead and jump into the final conclusions on your Thunderhammer. Okay, so final conclusion. This is a flashlight that I like, but I honestly just don't love. The interface just isn't that great. The brightness just isn't that great. The lack of clip drives me up a freaking wall. And honestly, the reason that you would buy this flashlight is the red light. That is the one killer feature on here. Having that second light source that won't blow out your night vision. That is the reason that this light exists, and it's the only reason that this light is interesting. And unfortunately for me, it's not something I find myself really using very often, or frankly ever. And so, if you're not needing the red light, this is probably not a great choice for you. For instance, the Zebralight SC62 or SC63W is probably going to be a better shot for you at a small everyday carry 18650 battery light. It'll be a little bit smaller, a little bit brighter. There's going to be a lot of, I think, some better there, although I still don't love the interface there. But that said, if you're looking at this second red light and you're thinking, oh, I need that, oh, God, do I need that, then get this light. This is fine. And even stock, even though the color temperature is going to be it's still going to be just fine. And so that's where I land. This light is just fine, but it's probably not something you should do unless you need its one neat little trick there. So, as much as I would love to shout Thunderhammer from the rooftops and really confuse the neighbors, I think I'm just going to leave this guy as a really conditional sort of thing, and I don't quite think it hits the mark for gem. But I do hope they keep improving it, maybe improve the interface a little bit, and pop the brightness, and then I'm going to be very interested to see where the Thunderhammer has to go in the future. Hope this was interesting, that it lit up your life, and that you have yourselves a wonderful rest of your day.